Good morning, everybody. I'm just going to give another 30 seconds to make sure everybody's joined, and then we will get started. All right. I think we have most of our RSVP reporters. So I'm going to get started. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining. Really happy to have you here today at our press event to kick off Global Road Safety Week and our industry's first global road safety campaign, Be Safe Together. Really excited today. I am Tanya Sherris, the Vice President of Communications and Marketing for IBTTA. We have a great lineup today of speakers. We have Shaylin Batt, Administrator of the Federal Highway Administration, Pat Jones, Executive Director and CEO of IBTTA. We have Bill Helkias, President of IBTTA and President Emeritus of Helestron, Malika Sethi, Secretary General and CEO of the European Association of Operators of Toll Road Infrastructure. We have Stacey Stewart, CEO of Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and Farzan Ahmed, Executive Director of Ohio Turnpike and Infrastructure Commission. So thank you all to our speakers for being here and the press that's joined us. Unfortunately, Administrator Batt will need to leave us shortly after his remarks, but thank you so much for being here. We will hear from him and then return to the rest of our program of speakers. After that, we will open the call up for media Q&A. This press event is on the record. And thank you again for being here. We're going to open with a short video highlighting this campaign, and then I'm going to turn it over to Pat Jones. Thank you again, everyone. We're just waiting for that video to load up.
I am here today to demonstrate our commitment to the Be Safe Together campaign.
99% of unsafe conditions on the road are intentional behavior, which we can prevent by being safe together.
So please, be safe together.
Look forward to continuing to work with IBTTA on this effort and ensuring that we're all safe together.
Join the safety campaign and let's be safe together.
Pat Jones, you have the floor.
Thank you, Tanya, and hi, everyone. I'm very pleased to welcome our speakers and members of the media to IBTTA's Global Road Safety Week kickoff event. As context, the United Nations reports that there were 1.19 million road deaths globally in 2023. Since COVID began, we've seen an increase in road deaths in the US that has only started to decline in recent quarters. Toll roads in the US and around the world are designed, built, and operated with the highest safety considerations in mind. Today, we are releasing a new report containing 6 case studies that show how toll operators are implementing the safe system approach to dramatically reduce crashes and fatalities. For example, the Pennsylvania Turnpike Commission has seen a steady decline of more than 30% in work zone crashes since 2016, with efforts like the Go Orange pledge to commit to safe driving and new technology pilots to provide drivers with additional visual notification of work zones. IBTTA member Osfanog, the national operator in Austria, reduced traffic fatalities by 50% between 2010 and 2020 through a safe system approach that includes 13 strategies and collaborations across the traffic network. These and other safety measures are happening across the toll road industry in the US and around the world. Safety is good citizenship, good politics, and very good business. And while our industry is doing its part to improve safety, one death is still too many. That's why we are launching Be Safe Together, IBTTA's global road safety campaign. It's a communications campaign to educate all road users about the important role they play in highway safety. As hard as our members work to improve safety by emphasizing the safe system approach, it still isn't enough to eliminate all crashes and death. That's why we're calling on all road users to stay focused, stay alert, and stay safe. When you're behind the wheel, every decision you make affects the safety of everyone else on the highway. As we like to say, the little things add up. When you're out there on the road, surrounded by 2 tons of metal, it may seem like you're all alone. But on the highway, we are all part of one common humanity. And when any one of us is injured, all of us hurt. So we're calling on the driving public to do your part, to work with the men and women who design, build, maintain, and operate toll roads, and all roads. We're asking everyone to use empathy out there on the highway. Give the other person the benefit of the doubt. At a merge point, let the other person in. When passing a work zone, slow down and move over. These may seem like little things, but they add up to safer roads, and they just may save a life. In the tolling industry, we work alongside federal, state, and local governments. IBTTA is proud to be one of the Federal Highway Administration's allies in action, and we are grateful and honored to have FHWA as a campaign supporter. It is now my privilege to introduce the Administrator of the Federal Highway Administration, Shailen Bhatt. Administrator Bhatt, thank you so much for being with us today.
Well, thank you, Patrick. And I just want to commend you for your leadership in this issue. It's incredibly important. I want to thank you for your commitment as joining as an ally in action for our National Roadway Safety Strategy. I look, and what I would also want to apologize for my attire. I'm a little more casual than I would be. I am on vacation, but I did drive the Ohio Turnpike to get to my destination. Very safe, very good outcomes. So appreciate that. Look, I think that is good news that all of you are so committed and so passionate. I think the harsh reality is, while we've seen some what I would describe as green shoots of hope around this safety issue that we're facing, where we've seen fatalities begin to decline, there's still 43,000 Americans dying on American roadways last year. Just to put that in context, by the time this week of safety is finished, that'll be about 820 Americans who will lose their lives just this week alone. I think that number, if you're talking about 1.19 million globally, will be close to 22,000 people losing their lives globally. And so, if there was anything that was killing that number of people, that was any kind of new technology or any kind of food or drug, we would say we need an immediate campaign to end this. So I am hopeful that the work that you're doing, the work that we're doing on the infrastructure side, with our Everyday Counts initiatives, with our proven safety countermeasures, such as roundabouts. We're deploying a lot of roundabouts in the U.S. You know, a lot of the world has gotten that ahead of us, and so you know, whether it's those sorts of things or protected bike lanes, we know that we can do a lot because it's not just vehicle crashes, but it's also vulnerable road users. And to that end, I also want to highlight, just last week I was out in Utah. We made a $60 million announcement for what we're calling our Saving Lives with Connectivity Accelerating V2X, or Vehicle to Everything deployment. I've just been a firm believer in my time, either running state DOTs or at the national level, you know, with the Federal Highway Administration, that we need to deploy technology at scale. And V2X technology, autonomous technology, this is really going to help us be able to move this along. So I want to thank you for all of your efforts. I would ask you to join us in continue to partner with us. Thank you for your commitment to being an ally, and look forward to working with you. I've traveled globally. I've worked in a global role in the private sector, and been on many toll roads across the world. And I want to thank you for your efforts, and hopefully we can keep the traveling public safe together. Thank you very much.
Administrator Batt, thank you so much for being with us today. We know you've got a very busy schedule and other activities to tend to. We appreciate your leadership of the administration, the Federal Highway Administration, and everything you're doing to make our roads safer. And we're delighted to be one of the allies in action. Thanks so much for being with us today. It's now my privilege to introduce Bill Halkias. Bill is president of IBTTA and president of emeritus of Helistron, the Hellenic Association of Toll Road Network. Bill, you have the floor.
Thank you, Pat, and hello, everyone. I am proud of the progress towards safer roads across the globe. This campaign can go far and wide because of your and others' engagement and make a real difference. In my professional career of 40 years, out of which 26 years at the helm of Attica Tollway in Athens, Greece, traffic safety was always the highlight of my everyday work. We had played an important role in the success that the Greek toll roads, the Helistron network, and the entire country have made, reducing fatalities by more than 60% since 2004, the year of the Athens Summer Olympics and the year when Attica Tollway opened fully to traffic, saving more than 1,000 lives until now. The Global Road Safety Week is a reflection of IBTTA's leadership in advancing global traffic safety solutions. Real change in road safety will only happen with global participation and cooperation. This dedicated week to safety aims to build that bridge worldwide. The issues identified for Global Road Safety Week is based on our members who cite speeding, impaired driving, and distracted driving as the leading unsafe driving behaviors on the roads. They are also deeply concerned about the safety of their workers and emergency responders who are at high risk of being struck by traffic every time they are on the road. Throughout Global Road Safety Week, IBTTA will feature daily themes to address these 3 dangerous driving habits and spread awareness about the innovative solutions the industry is utilizing to make our roads safer. Tomorrow and Tuesday, we'll focus on distracted driving awareness. Distracted driving is one of the leading causes of road accidents, and drivers using their phone are 4 times more likely to be involved in a crash than drivers who are not. To address this issue, IBTTA spoke with the Pennsylvania Turnpike Commission on their initiatives to educate new drivers on responsible driving. IBTTA's Pat Jones also spoke with former U.S. Secretary of Transportation Ray LaHood to discuss federal road safety initiatives LaHood spearheaded during his tenure to prevent distracted driving. On Wednesday, Global Road Safety Week looks at speeding and will highlight new technology that is raising the bar for road safety. Thursday's focus is impaired driving, featuring an in-depth interview with one of today's speakers, Mothers Against Drunk Driving CEO Stacy Stewart. The day will also feature remarks from National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's Deputy Administrator Sophie Schulman on federal initiatives. To round out the week on Friday, IBTTA will deal with the tolling industry's commitment to road safety and will host a live webinar featuring a conversation with our members and our partners worldwide who are invested in innovations and initiatives to make us all safer on the roads. I am thrilled of the global support the Be Safe Together campaign is receiving, especially from our partners at ASECAP, IRF, PARC, and Project Edward. I am very glad I can help this happen by capitalizing on my current role as president of IBTTA and past president of ASECAP, IRF, Helastron, and the Greek Institute of Transportation Engineers. I am so happy that I have contributed bringing together all these associations by developing connections and establishing relationships, resulting in the global alliance of today. When we work together, we can get one step closer to zero road fatalities. I look forward to a day when we see Vision Zero become a reality. Thank you, Pat. Thank you all.
Bill, thank you so much for your leadership and passion as the leader of this campaign. We appreciate everything that you put into this. Now it's my privilege to introduce Malika Sethi. Malika is the Secretary General and CEO of ASECAP, one of IBTTA's global partners in this safety campaign. Malika, you have the floor. And be sure to take yourself off mute.
1 second. Now I think I'm out of mute.
Yes.
So hello everyone, and thank you, Pat. As you mentioned, I'm the General Secretary of ASECAP, which is the European Association of Toll Road Operators, who are managing more than 50,000 miles of toll road, which is the backbone of travel and trade around Europe. I will just repeat what has been said before, but as toll road operators, our primary mission, as reminded by Bill, is to have our safest network and to put really the emphasis on road traffic safety. So we are targeting Vision Zero as road operators, which is also a global target that we have today. Vision Zero is a method and mindset based on the underlying ethical principle that cannot never be ethical acceptable that people are killed on the road or injured when they are moving just for their, let's say, pleasure or work. So that is just simply not acceptable. And we are all aware that today, the road accidents are the leading cause of death of young people. So just unacceptable that we have this very hard toll on our young people. So ASECAP is willing to build a safety culture by working in partnership, like we are doing today with all the stakeholders that are involved, to reach, and we have a roadmap which has been also set up at United Nations levels with the sustainable goals, and also at the European levels, we do have a roadmap and a road safety action plan to halve the deaths on the road. And I'm happy to see that the trend that we are following within ASECAP members, we have reached in the first decade, 2010, we had the objective to reduce by 2 the injuries, the fatalities, and most of the ASECAP members reached the target. And for the second plan that we have, 2021 to 2031, we have the same objective to have and to continue to lever the trend. So we are in a good shape, but as you mentioned, Pat, unfortunately, the trend was a little bit going up after the COVID, but luckily stabilized again and moving down, which is good news. So we are, of course, promoting the safe system approach, which will ensure safe vehicles, safe infrastructure in order to prevent human failure. And I think I heard someone telling that 99% in the film is due. I think it's Fasan stressing that 99% is somehow human being, let's say, uncontrolled. And so the safe system approach will hopefully help us to reach the target. So we foresee that connectivity, automation, and it has been recalled by Commissioner Schellenbach, automatic driving, and also connectivity and additional innovation will improve road safety. So the existing infrastructure will require upgrading, modernization, in order to be able to deploy full automatic, full autonomous vehicles that will prevent this human failure somehow. But of course, that does not mean that we will eradicate, well, we rely on drivers and they should still be responsible of their driving. It's not because we are introducing safe system approach that we just give them the caution that they can drive safely. They are still have the responsibility to get the control of their vehicles. So this is how they should contribute. And we believe that Vision Zero and its continuous success will be the key point in order to reach what we are focusing. So to be safe together campaign is for sure, we are sharing the same DNA and the same vision to make our roads a safer place for all and reduce fatalities. And the, let's say, culture and partnership, and I'm involved in ASECAP, PIAC, ITS Europe, which also refer to Artico. So we are all working, and thanks to the global campaign that has been initiated by IBTTA and by its president, Bilal Kias, I'm sure that we will be all committed to reach this ambitious goal, and coordination that we will have all together will be the key point. This is why ASECAP strongly believe on this campaign and strongly support the IBTTA global campaign to be safe together. Thank you for your attention. You're on mute, but.
Thank you, Malika, for being with us today and for your leadership of ASECAP and everything you're doing to advance Vision Zero. Thank you so much. Now it's my privilege to introduce Stacy Stewart. Stacy is the CEO of Mothers Against Drunk Driving, a partner in IBTTA's safety campaign. Stacy, you have the floor.
Well, thank you, Patrick, and it's really an honor to be here. My name is Stacy Stewart. I'm the CEO of Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and I'd like to thank IBTTA for organizing the Global Road Safety Week event and shining a spotlight on road safety and how we can collectively take action to make our roads safer. You know, over almost about 43 years, MAD has saved nearly 400,000 lives. We have served almost 1 million victims and survivors of impaired driving crashes. And we've helped reduce drunk driving deaths by more than 50% since MAD began. Despite all of these steadfast efforts, though, impaired driving still remains a deadly public health crisis on our roads in the United States. And that really undermines everyone's right to safety. Drunk driving fatalities have actually increased by 33% since 2019. And according to NHTSA, more than 13,000 people were killed in alcohol-related crashes in 2022 alone. Now, these numbers are alarming, and we believe at MAD that we need a transformative solution. We believe that it's time to end drunk driving for once and for all, and we think that the answer can be in passive, life-saving technology, and that technology can make this vision of ending drunk driving once and for all a reality. We recently celebrated one of our greatest legislative victories in MAD's history, the passage of the HALT Act. This was passed as a part of the bipartisan infrastructure bill at the end of 2021. It now requires passive impaired driving prevention technology to be included in all new cars, starting in as early as 2026. And when this technology is included, according to the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, this technology will save more than 10,000 lives per year and prevent hundreds of thousands of injuries. So the HALT Act is really an evolution in auto safety. It is similar to the revolutionary impact that we've seen in so many other areas, whether it's around stronger seatbelt laws, airbags, backup cameras, things that we sort of take for granted today, but we know have really saved hundreds and thousands of lives. This effort with the HALT Act represents another significant step towards our ultimate goal, ending the 100% preventable crime of drunk and drug driving. MADD is fiercely dedicated to a future where impaired driving no longer exists, and we do hope that we can move swiftly through the rulemaking process that we're in right now so that we can begin to see the tech in new cars in just a few years. In the meantime, we're going to continue to work with victims and survivors and work closely with law enforcement to continue to change America's culture around drinking and driving. We're also going to work on educating and building awareness around this issue because we think that the public really needs to be reminded that there are safe behaviors that we should all employ to make sure that we safeguard our roads. And we especially have to focus on younger drivers, the next generation. We have to make sure we engage and educate teens and really their parents as well on the dangers of underage drinking and drug use and in ways that will create a safer future for all. So together, let's continue to move forward, make our roads safe and our futures brighter, and ensure that the memories of those lost to impaired driving continue to inspire our actions. MADD is really proud to support IBTTA and the tolling industry's Be Safe Together campaign. Thank you for allowing me to be part of this session today and helping to make road safety and driving with empathy top of mind this week and throughout the year. Thank you.
Stacey, thank you so much for being with us today and for your leadership on impaired driving and also on the HALT Act. Thank you for your partnership and your leadership. It's now my privilege to introduce Farzan Ahmed. Farzan is the Executive Director of the Ohio Turnpike and Infrastructure Commission. He's also a board member of IBTTA and serves as the chair of IBTTA's Roadway Safety Committee. Farzan, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Pat, and thank you so much to you, to Administrator Bhatt, to Bill, Malika, and Stacey for your leadership and for your great comments today. Through our campaign, Be Safe Together, we are addressing behaviors such as distracted driving, speeding, and impaired driving. We are also addressing work zone safety to demonstrate our industry's commitment to safety. And I tell you this professionally as well as personally. I will never forget the day when one of my colleagues was killed by a driver who fell asleep at the wheel and drove into the work zone. My colleague was just doing his job. And I tell you, one death is too many. I support the Be Safe Together campaign to save lives. At the Ohio Turnpike, we prioritize safety in all of our operations. We conduct educational campaigns, work closely with the Highway Patrol on enforcement, use incident responders to assist stranded motorists, and require our contractors to provide dedicated traffic specialists to monitor and fix work zones around the clock. As Pat mentioned at the beginning of this call, today we are releasing 6 case studies featuring investments in safety across infrastructure, operations, innovation, and education. And I am proud to say that the tolling industry is committed to safety. Pat gave examples of the Pennsylvania Turnpike as well as ASFINAG, and I would like to highlight some case studies from a few others of our members. The Attica Tollway in Greece features rapid response from safety patrols which respond to accidents within 6 minutes. Following a roadway audit, the tollway upgraded its infrastructure with better lighting, guardrail, and signage. The tollway also hosts awareness campaigns for school kids of all ages. Elizabeth River Crossings in Virginia is structured to emphasize roadway safety throughout its operations, running a systematic process to identify and treat safety at 2 levels: road safety and the health and safety of workers. The North Texas Tollway Authority established a traffic and incident management department to enhance the agency's ability to address safety issues. The Tampa Hillsborough Expressway Authority, or THIA, has been working to add mobility access and physical safety features to their infrastructure to reflect the needs of their growing and changing communities. Leaders from each of these organizations, as well as the Pennsylvania Turnpike and ASFINAG, will participate in a live webinar on Friday to discuss their work to improve safety. The event is open to the public, but you must register on the IBTTA website to participate. I can think of no better way to conclude IBTTA's first Global Road Safety Week than with a meaningful conversation about safety with our industry's leaders and global supporters. Thank you so much, Pat, and let's all be safe together.
Thank you, Farzan, and thank you for your leadership of the Roadway Safety Committee. And now I'm going to turn it back over to our Vice President for Communications, Marketing, and Media Relations, Tanya Sherris, to manage the Q&A. Tanya, over to you.
Thank you, Pat, and thank you to all of our speakers. I'm pleased to open up the floor to media for Q&A. Reporters, if you could please just raise your hands and we will call on you. So we have a question from Larry Higgs. Larry, floor is yours if you could introduce yourself and ask your question.
Sure, thank you. I'm Larry Higgs. I'm a reporter from NJ.com and the Star Ledger in New Jersey. And my question has to deal with a sad phenomenon we're seeing in New Jersey, and that is a spike in motorcycle deaths. We had one weekend where 14 people were killed in 12 accidents on motorcycles. So my question to the panel is, what can be done about these users who kind of straddle between vehicular users and vulnerable users? What can be done to try to get the message out for safety for both those riders and for people in larger vehicles who are interacting with them on the highways?
Thank you, Larry. Farzan, maybe I'll start with you to kick off, and then if anyone wants to add on.
Thank you so much. What a great question, Larry. It is so true. So the Ohio Turnpike is on the way to the big rally that there is in South Dakota every year. And one of the things that we try to do every Memorial Day is have a safety event at one of our service plazas. We bring in the media and we actually stop the motorcycle riders who are going on the road and we have them interview with the public. We ask for the help of influencers, popular DJs, popular talk show, radio show hosts, TV hosts, and we have those people interact with the users, with the drivers, with the riders of the motorcycles. And it's very simple. We use their lingo. We say you got to have their six, which means you're right behind them. So if there's a motorcycle rider on the road, we got to have their six. They don't have the protection that everybody else has with a vehicle with 4 tires. And a crash on a motorcycle is almost always much more severe and serious than a crash in a car. It has to be an intentional effort. What we as agencies can do is, as I mentioned, we can have these media events. And then when the motorcycle season starts, whether it's in the beginning of summer or late spring, let's get message boards up there to remind people that now there's an added added factor on the road that requires our attention, and that's the motorcycle rider.
Thank you, Farzan. Larry, do you have any other questions, or does any of the panelists want to add to that? To Farzan's answer?
One other question that we've also seen a spike in pedestrian fatalities. I realize that you don't get pedestrians on a lot of the toll roads, but how does that factor into this larger campaign where we sort of see a lot of blame game going on between motorists and pedestrians as far as, who's got the right of way, who should be crossing when, that sort of thing?
Anya, I'd like to take this one
Thanks,
and tell
Bill.
Larry that in our campaign, we call cyclists, pedestrians, and motorcyclists vulnerable users. So we need to tell each and every driver, no matter if they drive on our toll roads or they drive on local streets or in urban areas, that they need to watch out for these vulnerable users. And at the same time, we need to tell motorcyclists especially that they ought to obey their traffic signals and the rules that they are related with driving motorcycles and bicycles. So yes, we need to do more, Larry, on educating both the 4-tire drivers and the 4-tire users or the big truck drivers together with all these vulnerable users that they need to watch out for each other. Be safe together. That's the same slogan that we need to get along with this.
Malika, would you like to add something? Thank you, Bill.
Thank you. Yes, I will build on what Bill just mentioned, vulnerable user. Also for toll road operators, and I mean road infrastructure operators is also our staff. I would like to mention it because and to answer to Larry, we do have also pedestrian or our staff working to make the network safer for the, let's say, for the drivers that are on the road. So as ASECAP level, we are now having a campaign on a yearly basis, and this is the second time we have organized a European-wide campaign to make public awareness that they have to take care of the people who are working on the network, but not only the people working on the network, but also the emergency services, all the people that are acting for the safety of the drivers. So these are vulnerable users, and we also have to draw attention to that. And this is why we make awareness campaign, like most of the toll road operators are doing to focus also on specific items.
Thank you, Malika. Stacy?
I was just going to add that, at MAD, we've been very clear that we are trying to make sure that the roads are safer for anyone on the roads. And that would include anyone, not just in a car, but any pedestrian, any bicyclist, anyone else on the roads. Last week I just did two interviews, media interviews about two high profile cases, actually in Texas, not in New Jersey, but in Texas. One, a pedestrian who was struck by an impaired driver and was actually dismembered, and another crash that was caught on body cam on some sort of dash cam, and it showed an impaired driver running into two bicyclists and running over one of them. So this is really a very dangerous time, and what we're trying to do is to make sure that it's clear that impaired driving can really affect anyone on the roads, whether it's the person who's operating the vehicle or anyone else in their way. And it's really important that this campaign in total is communicating that we have to keep everyone safe on the roads.
Thank you, Stacy. Pat? Pat, you're on mute. Still can't hear you. All right, we'll come back to you, Pat. I think we have a question now from Adam Hill. Adam, can you introduce yourself and you can take it away? Adam, looks like you are still muted. Can you unmute yourself? There, you should be off mute now.
Yeah, how is that?
That's great. We can hear you. Thank you, Adam.
Great, thank you. Thanks very much to IBTTA for leading this. I'm Adam Hill, editor of ITS International magazine, which deals with urban mobility and traffic technology globally. This is an education campaign, it's a communications campaign. That being the case, how will you know what success looks like? This is the first one. How are you going to work out how you've done, if you like, by the end of this week?
Bill, would you like to take that or? Oh.
Yeah, go ahead. Look.
Oh, Pat, you're back. Pat, would you like to take that?
Sure, I'll start. Adam, thank you so much for joining the call and for the question. And you're right, this is the first time we're doing this global road safety campaign. So this is a time for us to sort of lay down a baseline of what our communication messages are looking like and what the actual result is out there on the highway. And as part of this campaign, we're actually collecting data from our members that identifies vehicle miles traveled, crashes, fatalities, et cetera, so that we have something to compare this to in the future. So part of this campaign is us making an investment in collecting data that is comparable. We're comparing apples to apples, and that we can show real progress in the future. And I see Farzan has his hand up.
Thank you. Good to hear from you, Adam. Just building on to what Pat said, which he so eloquently explained, that we have to build that base. Pat had earlier given the example of the Pennsylvania Turnpike, where they had reduced their crashes over a 10-year period. That's exactly it. It always starts with the inventory. Let's figure out where we are right now, and then through our efforts of communication and education, we can pinpoint areas where we know that we can get tangible results, and then over a period of time, we have to measure those results.
Thank you, Farzan. Malika?
Yes, thank you, Tanya. Just wanted also to highlight that we have also a committee, road safety committee, permanent road safety committee within ASECAP, where we have a dedicated task force that are collecting on a yearly basis all the data related to accidents, fatalities, injuries. This task force is led by Emanuela Stocki and also our colleague from ASFINAG, Bernard Lautner. And this group is really looking at, let's say, data analysis. And we made also public campaign awareness. At European level, this is the campaign I mentioned, but also all of our members are doing that. So public awareness campaigns are really important, and we can measure somehow based on statistical data analysis, the result of our awareness campaign. But we do have figures that we collect now on a yearly basis, thanks to our committee, road safety committee within ASECA, with a dedicated task force on road safety data analysis.
Thank you, Malika. Okay, we now have a question from Tom Stone at Traffic Technology International. Tom.
Hello, thank you. I'm editor of Traffic Technology International, and hello, Adam. It was nice to hear you here, my friendly rival over at ITS International. My question is about, this is an international campaign, clearly, and I was talking to Pat the other day about how IBTTA is becoming more and more international. What are the things that you think perhaps the US can learn from Europe and vice versa in terms of road safety? Are there some important lessons there?
Farzan, would you like to start, or Bill?
Sure. Bill raised his hand out before Bill.
All right. I felt as European to take this one up. Yes, there are lessons that we can learn from Europe. There are lessons we can learn from the US, but there are also lessons that we can learn from the other world. This is why we're bringing this together, this campaign, so that we build the alliance that we can exchange ideas and investments on traffic safety. For example, the European Union mandates a black box to be installed in every new vehicle from the consecutive years. So that's a good initiative, which obviously will help to monitor the driver behavior. At the same time, we as IBTTA are launching the so-called Traffic Safety Awards, which will be part of our Toll Excellence Award. And in Cleveland, later this year, we will hear from many toll operators the investment they are making, the investment in technology and operational practices that help bringing these crashes, these injuries and fatalities down. So by opening this dialogue, we will learn from each other. And literally, Tom, we need your help in getting the message and that alliance across the globe.
I'd like to add something to that, just a personal perspective from my travels in Europe and my work here in the US as an old construction engineer. One of the lessons that we can definitely learn from Europe is the amount of importance that Europeans have placed on the pedestrian safety aspect. We here in the US should not be shy or unapologetic about taking intentional measures to shift focus from only the automobile and the road over to cyclists, motorcyclists, and pedestrians. You can see infrastructure in Europe that is dedicated to cyclists as well as pedestrians, and you don't see too many examples of that. And that is certainly one lesson that I believe we can learn from our European friends.
Thank you, Farzan. Malika?
Yeah, we just would like to highlight, in fact, the importance role of policymakers. In Europe, what we do have a road safety action plan, but we also have directives dedicated to road safety. Somehow, we have the cross-border enforcement directive that is really dedicated to, let's say, it's not educate, but to enforce people who are overspeeding or not respecting the rules of road safety. But we also have other directives like the road safety infrastructure management. This is dedicated to road infrastructure, and we do have high, let's say, level of checkpoints that we have within this directive in order to enhance our road infrastructures, and the same for tunnel safety. So we do have also regulation, but also policy, strong policy involvement in order to put the target on and the goals. And it helps somehow because we had to fulfill to this directive to be compliant with what the European Union is asking from us.
Thank you, Malika. Are there any other questions from media? No further questions. To the panelists, anything you would like to add before we close? Bill, yeah.
Oh. Go ahead, Bill.
In line with what Malika said, I'd like to remind everyone that the United Nations is also a driving force on traffic safety. They have appointed a special envoy, Jean Todt, who takes this message globally. We have an excellent cooperation with him. We have excellent cooperation with the United Nations. We are addressing these issues with our global partners, such as IRF and PRC. And literally, we want to have this message be taken across globally, irrespectively if we do have members in that particular country or not. I can tell you, Kenya is also going forward with this campaign through communication, reaching out to friends and old associates. We can make that difference. So we go global. That's all I want to say.
Thank you, Bill. Farzan?
Just like to make a comment about safety of workers on the road. One has to understand that when there is a work zone, there is something that has changed. The speed limit may have come down. There might be an extra curve on the road. The width may be restricted, but everybody knows what's going on because we always put adequate signage, and all we need is for people to look at the signage, observe the signage, and then follow the rules so that we can all be safe.
Thank you, Farzan. Pat, closing.
Yes, I wanted to add something about pedestrians. Larry Higgs had a question about pedestrians. One of our case studies, the Tampa Hillsborough Expressway Authority, deals with pedestrians. They have 4 facilities, only one of which is a toll facility. And at the exit and entrance ramps, they have infrared technology that is connected with their variable message signs on the expressway, so they can warn people who are coming off the expressway about pedestrians or anything that may be there on some of the surface streets.
Thank you, Pat. Malika.
Yeah, I just want to remind what I said before. What is really important is that we do have from the policymakers a strong signals, because we are doing campaign, and that has been recalled by several of the speakers. Since we have this campaign, global campaign, Be Safe Together, we do it at the same time globally, which is also a really strong, let's say, initiative, because we are communicating at the same time on topics that are common to all of us. So we are, of course, targeting pedestrians. For us, they are not supposed to be on the motorway, but we do have people breaking down, and we do deliver a strong message on how they have to behave when they break down, because they are putting at risk, since the motorway is a high speed, let's say, network. So we do have to make global campaign together align, and that is also a good signal that we provide.
Thank you, Malika. And Stacy.
I just wanted to reiterate that now that we're in this period where we've seen such a dramatic increase in impaired driving fatalities, 30%, over 30% since 2019, it's really imperative that we do everything possible to come together. And that's why this effort is so important. There's no one organization. MAD alone can't do this and reduce impaired driving fatalities and injuries alone. We have to do it with others. I also think the question that was raised earlier about technology, there's a lot of technology being used by companies all around the world that can really help us to drive more safely and keep others safe. In the US, we need to look at other partners around the world and figure out what technology may work the best. But I also want to say that we can't be afraid about the kinds of advancements around safety that have really helped to save lives. When I came to MAD a little over a year ago, I looked at some of the pushback in the United States around even stronger seatbelt laws and people who felt like this was an infringement among our rights, that we would have stronger seatbelt laws, things that we would find unimaginable today because we know how much stronger seatbelt laws have kept us safe. We can't imagine driving without backup cameras. The same is true with the new kind of technology that I was referencing around impaired driving prevention technology. We can't be afraid of it. It's not technology that's designed to infringe on anyone's privacy or personal rights. It's just about keeping us safe in our cars and keeping others safe as well. So I'm looking forward to those kinds of advancements that will help to reduce impaired driving fatalities as close to zero as we've ever been.
Thank you, Stacy. Bill.
Tanya, let's not forget we're talking about people, and people are making mistakes, and people sometimes intentionally, they do different things that the rules and the laws are saying. So enforcement is very, very important. Let's not forget what we do. Somebody needs to check that the rules are followed. And those are the state troopers on the highways. They are the traffic police on the urban streets. They are the school crossing people that they facilitate the safe movement of kids from one side of the street to the other side. It is the bikeways, and it is literally enforcement. And technology can help us on this, but nevertheless, we need the support of the enforcement people. And those are the traffic police, the state troopers, and everyone who has policing authority across all transportation network.
Thank you, Bill. All right, we have no more questions from reporters. We're coming to the top of the hour, so I want to thank our speakers and thank the media for joining today. In closing out to media, please reach out to me with any additional requests for questions or comments. We can also connect you to our global partners directly and our US partners, as well as connecting you to the case study operators who have some really great stories. They can dig into some of those initiatives as well. So thank you. And we're all going to be safe together and really excited about pushing this campaign out. So thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to be with you.
Thank you.
Good to be with you too.
Be safe together.
Bye, everybody.
Together.